Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jen, and today I'm going to show you how I made these two cards. One without the mat and one with a mat. Now this is what they call the stack, cut, and shuffle. And I am using an old Stampin' Up paper pack called Tidings of Christmas. And it's taking 6x6 and cutting it down, and I'm just lining up my papers in the direction. If it's directional or anything like that, then you want to make sure that everything is going in the direction you want it to go, because with the lines you could have it going horizontal or vertical. All right, so my first cut is going to be at 4 inches, because I want this to be 4 inches the one direction. So this will go off to the side, and now this I want to go at 5 1/4. So I'll just line it up with the 5 1/4 mark here. And since there's 4 sheets, you might need to go through it a couple of times. Okay, so those just get put off to the side. Okay, so for the first one, without any mat, is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So that's what I just cut this down to. Now I'm going to make my first cut. Make sure I'm in camera here if I can see. I'm going to make my first cut at 2 3/4, because that's how wide I want this side to be. And this side is going to be 1 1/4. So I'm going to make sure my paper is in the direction I want it to go. And then I'm going to line it up with the 2 3/4 line. And again, with multiple sheets of paper, you probably have to go through it a couple of times, unless you have a super strong trimmer. Okay, so this is the 1 1/4 on this side, and this is the 2 3/4 on this side. Now this, I'm going to cut at the 3 mark, because I want the one side to be at 3 inches. And hopefully you are seeing this in the camera, and I'm sorry about any glare there might be. So that one goes there, and that one goes there. And now this, we want to cut at 2 inches for the one section, and then the other section is going to be 3 1/4 inches. That's the top section, and that's the bottom section. And then so that's how to cut the first one. Now I'll show you the second one. We're going to cut that at 5 by 3 3/4. Our 6x6, we're going to cut down to 5 by 3 3/4. So we'll cut our 5 inches first. And then we want to cut it by 3 3/4. Now this one, I am doing it the opposite direction of what I did that one, just to show you that it really doesn't matter which direction you have these lines going. Some paper is very important for the directional layout, and some is not. All right, so that is our first portion. And now we're going to cut this one by at the 2.5 mark. So this way at 2.5. There's my 2.5. Make sure all my papers are lined up. So 2.5. There's the first section, and here's for this side. All right, now for this one, we want to cut it at 2 3/4. So we're gonna change the way it's going and go to our 2 3/4 mark. And this section is for the bottom, and this is for the top. And then this one we are going to cut at 1 3/4. So this is our 1 3/4, and I have this number marked wrong. This is actually, should be 3 1/4. Yeah, so I have that written down wrong there. It's 3 1/4. All right. So now comes the fun part of assembling. Okay, so what you're going to do with these is you are going to do the shuffle. We'll start with this one first. This is the one without the border, or without the mat. So you're going to pick up your first one. That's going to stay just like that. Then you're going to go to the second pile, and you're going to shuffle once. You're going to go to the third pile, and you're going to shuffle twice. And then the third pile, 1, 2, 3 times. And then we're going to do the same thing with this pile. So it's going to be once. And this one's going to be twice. 1, 2. And this one's going to be 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So now each card will be different yet similar. Okay, so my card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then the one that has a mat, the mat is at 4 and 5 1/4. Okay, so let's start assembling. I'm going to put the mat one, I'm going to put the mat down on that one first. Just to get that down. And this is really easy. You can do multiple cards at one time, like I am kind of doing here. Okay, so to start with, the one without the mat, we're just going to take our first one and we're going to put it down, adhere it. And I like to use the Tombow Multi-Mono liquid glue because that gives me a little bit of time for wiggle room. So this one we don't have a mat, so we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of a border at the top and the side. Now we're going to go to our next piece, and we're going to put that one down. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of space, border around the top and the side. And now we'll do our third piece, And we're going to do the same thing here. Give ourselves a little bit of a border, side and the bottom. And then we're going to do our other one, our last piece. And we're going to do the same thing. Border at the bottom and the side. All right. So now we'll do that with the one that has the mat. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of the red border around the top and the side. And we can take our next piece, and it doesn't matter which order you go in. Like this one I'm doing differently than I did this one. I'm doing the top and bottom on this side. Now I'm going to switch and do the top and bottom on this side. And so we're going to give ourselves border, top, and side. And same thing down here. And this one might be a little bit hard to tell because it is red on red, but there is a little bit of a border all the way around. All right, so then you would just continue that with 4 more cards. So out of 4 sheets of paper, or you could even do 2 sheets of paper and do front and back, because this side has this on the back, and this one has this on the back, and this one's this, and this one's this. So you could do, you know, that would also make a nice card. So you could just do, you know, those 2. You know, so if you have double-sided paper, you could just use the front and backs. You wouldn't necessarily need to do 4 sheets, but then you'd still be able to get 4 cards out of it. Okay, so then for my sentiment, so this card is Evening Evergreen from Stampin' Up, and the red on here is Cherry Cobbler. So I'm just using my Cherry Cobbler ink, and I'm using the Merry Christmas out of an old Stampin' Up stamp set called Tag Buffet. And I'm just going to ink this up. And I know some people don't worry if they got it on the, if they got ink on the block, because they don't get it all over their paper, but I, for some reason, do. So no matter what I do, I seem to be a klutz in that. Okay, so I'm just lining up my paper on my grid mat so I can try and get a centered Merry Christmas. And then that'll just go on there. And we'll do the same with this one. Okay. Yeah, I always end up with all kinds of ink all over myself when I stamp. Okay, so I did use, I used dimensionals on those. And I will again. Oh, and you know, I think I cut those down a little further than I am on this one. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm just using a few dimensionals, and I'm only going to put one of these on just for the sake of time on the video, because we are already at 16 minutes and counting. And oops, wrong side. But I just want you to see what a completed one looks like. So there we go. There's one completed. And then this one would just be the same. And then of course you can do the inside if you'd like also. And I haven't done that yet. So, all right, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below. And I appreciate you being here, taking the time out of your day to watch my video. And I hope that you have a good day. Bye.